So right now I have my pattern drafted, the front and the back. So for clarity's sake, I'm going to be indicating them on each of the patterns, the front and the back. So these are the patterns I'm going to be working with. Like you see, this is the normal basic body block, and that is what I'm going to be using. So whenever I make my back pattern, I like to make provisions for cutting the middle part of the back so that it's just perfect. And as you can see, I already added seam allowance to the both patterns, right? And for the front, I made sure that I added an extension to the front block, so I folded it. So I'm going to be explaining to you what this extension is in the course of this video, so stay tuned. Okay, so for now I'm going to be doing away with the back. So for this front, the length of this pattern paper or the length of this top, I'm using 21 inches. Use less, use more if you want, but this is okay for who I'm making it for. So this is a 4-inch extension. I'm going to be marking 1 inch from that point. On this line, which is my center front depth, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, and on this 1 inch is going to be my breaking point. You know, so this line is the center front depth. So from coming down by 1 inch, I'm going to also mark out the 1 inch and link it to the one that I measured beneath. So this break point, which is the 1 inch that I came down by, is the break point. That is when my lapel is going to be ending, and this center front depth is going to be the lapel width where it's going to be overlapping. So on the neck region, I'm going to go inwards by 1 inch. So you might be wondering, what is she trying to do? She's trying to form a lapel. So follow carefully. So from this 1 inch, I'm going to connect it to this breaking point this way. So just follow me and do as I do. Okay, connect it straight. So this is what we have currently. So on this line, I am going to fold it using that line as a guide to fold this paper to the back like this. So after folding, this is what we are left with, right? So I'm going to use my tracing wheel. You see the extension of the neckline. I'm going to trace it on the pattern paper, unfold, so that the marks, the broken lines appear on the main bodies of the parts that we need to use, right? So I'm going to use my pencil to trace that new point. So as a way of identification, I just marked it, I starred it there, and I'm going to show you why I had to star it. So I made a mark there. So from this mark, from the start point that I marked, I am going to go out by 1 inch and 3/4 inches. 1 inch 3/4, and you can use 1.5, you can use 1, you can use 2. It depends on how large you want your lapel to be, but I feel this is the size that I want my lapel to be. So I'm going to be blending it into these broken lines that we just marked, right? So from this point, I'm going to be connecting it from this point to our breaking line downwards. First of all, we are going to use a straight line to connect it downwards. So at this point, I would like to say, if you want your breaking point to be longer than the measurement that I took, you can go ahead and do that. But this is what I actually want, not too deep and not too shallow. So after making the straight line, I am going to give it a little curve. So I'll be using the little curve of this rule to make that happen. So this is what it looks like right now. To make it more visible, I'll be using the marker. So I'm supposed to leave like extra pattern papers at the top. So because I didn't do that, and I did that on purpose, I'm going to be adding an external pattern papers. So I'm going to be forming the other lapel that will be crossing to the back side. But first of all, we still need to fold it because we need the lapel to be at the extended part of the pattern paper at the front. You remember the 4 inches? Yes, this part. So we need to get the lapel to also be there. So we'll still fold the pattern paper. Then I shouldn't have added this extension yet until after forming it. But before then, I discovered that the lapel seemed flat at that end. So I just added 1/2 inch to just make it, just take it up a little bit. At this point, it's entirely up to you. You are a creative, So just be creative with how you want your lapel to look and how you want your either jacket or your shirt to look. So this is what I feel like it should look like. So I'm going to be using my tracing wheel while the paper is folded this way to trace just the lapel path like this. So I'm going to flip the paper open, the pattern papers open, and I will be tracing the broken lines because it appeared on the part that we folded. The lines appeared there. So I'm going to be tracing what we got and then just form exactly the lapel that we just traced out using the broken lines that the tracing will give. So this is what we have right now. So this is it. Yep. So for now, this is what we need, right? So we're going to be, this is how it's going to be folded. You can see that it is coming out like we want. So you can see that the lapel is not so long. This is not a blazer. This is for a shirt, a crop shirt. So right afterwards, at the neck point, I'm going to go outwards by 1/4 on the tape. 1/4 is just 2 lines. Any 2 lines on the tape is 1/4. Each line on the tape is 1/8. So I'm taking 2 of the lines. That is 1/4. So I went out by that 1/4. I'm going to be blending that line into the neckline. This is just to ease the lapel. Once it falls on your body, once you just relax it on your body, it relaxes. At this point, we need the back pattern. So we're going to be measuring the neck width. So the measurement of this back neck is what's going to determine what other thing we're going to cut, which is the back collar that makes it a complete collar for this jacket or this shirt, you know. So whatever you have for your back measurements or your neck measurement for the back is the next thing you're going to be measuring on the extra allowance on your pattern paper upward after the neck. This is where my pencil is marking. So I measured exactly that on the pattern paper. So you're going to extend the line from the neck up until this measurement that you just marked. So that will be the back neck width. We're going to be extending it upward into the front neckline. Remember when we measured the back neck? That's what we're using to extend into the front neck now. Then from that point, you can decide to go back by 1/2 inch. This is just like a design if you want to design it however you want. Instead of leaving it plain, I feel like maybe a little bit like 1/2 inch away would give it a little more design. Then I just divide the line into 2. This is just a formality. Divide it into 2. So you might be asking, why is she doing all of this? I'm just trying to design my collar differently. So after dividing the half, remember we took 1/2 inch away from the line. This is the line away. So I'm trying to blend in that 1/2 inch into this half, into this line that we divided into 2. Then from then I'm going to be measuring 2 inch 3/4 on this line. This is how wide the back collar neck is going to be. You can measure 2 inch, you can measure 3 inch. It just totally depends on how you want your collar to appear. At this point, there's no standard measurement. It is just entirely up to you. So from that line, I'm going to be blending it into the front, this point. You know that point that we marked? We're going to be blending it into that. And then you can decide to take away 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch away. For me, I would take out 3/4 inch away, but just watch me. So I'm just going to blend the line from the width that we just measured. Yeah, this point, blend it down. Then you remember we measured out 3/4 of an inch away. So that's the point. So I'm just going to also blend it in. So if you want, you can measure 1/2 inch away or 1 inch away. So the lines are more visible now. The collar for the back is more visible. So we formed our complete collar set. The lapel at the front and this collar for the back. So our collar or our lapel set or our collar set, it depends, whatever you call it, it's ready. So at this point we can cut conveniently that we've made our collars. It is ready now. So first of all, let's experiment what we've cut. Okay, so folding it, this is what we're going to have. Isn't it beautiful? We already formed our lapel for the front and we already formed our collar for the back. Look at how it is. Then this one is going to go this way through to the back. So isn't it amazing? It is. So feel free now to cut it out. Feel free now to place it on your fabric and cut it exactly. Then expect the continuation of this video, as I would come back to show you what else you need to do by cutting it on the fabric and all of that. So for the collar, for the back collar, I'm going to make like 4 to 5 slashes and just spread it on a different pattern. Why are we spreading the collar? The reason is simple. We want the collar to be very relaxed and free on the back neck. I don't know if you've taken note, but you see some people make jackets or make a blazer and the collar at the back is very stiff. It doesn't spread out. It is very hard. It is very stiff. So that is what we're trying to avoid. So when you spread it, it becomes easier. So on a different pattern paper, I just spread it and make my marks. Remember, when you are cutting on your fabric, you are going to be adding 1/2 inch allowance on all sides. After marking out, you're just going to cut it out, and that would be all for the collar. And then you cut out, which will be the new collar we'll be making yourself. So if you watched to this point, thank you very much, and I'll be so excited to bring the part 2 of this tutorial. So if you're not yet subscribed, do me the favor by clicking on the subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you in the part B or part 2 of this tutorial. So see you later. Bye.